tree around, now you can see there's always one side of the root which is better than the other. And then also you have to look at the trunk as well. But as I say, normally this is regarded as a fault. We would just leave it plain like that. Can you see? Yeah. Can you see without that in the way? What do you think is better, with or without? Beyond, without.
It's too much.
Is it?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It looks a bit bizarre.
Yeah.
You see? See, if I got rid of that, it would look it would look better.
Yeah.
Also, I know that because this tree is growing well, you can either cut it next year or you can cut it now, but you can cut that off because you got a lot of root there, and then you'll get a more pleasing effect.
Okay.
All right, but I probably won't do it. Maybe do it next year. Do it in February.
Okay.
Okay. Also, looking at the tree, to my mind, I will mark it. Usually we mark the front with a piece of wire. I think looking at the tree this way, this is a nice front. This is a nice front.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You see, this is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, if we use that as a marker, then I'm now going to remove some of these branches because it's hanging too much. Also, I always begin by doing a very rough prune. Again, I do this always in the videos. As long as you have a dome shape or triangular shape, you can't go wrong. Don't let it get too, congested like this, you know. Otherwise it begins to look like a bush.
Yeah. Well, I don't know I'm wrong. What I've been doing just let it grow really to try and thicken it up.
See, just by doing that, I've improved the look a little bit. Only a little bit, not much. Okay, so it's looking a bit better. So it's not clouding too much. Now I need to show the branches better. This piece of wire always reminds me to come back towards this side because this is the front that I'm working from. This is what I'm aiming to achieve. And then I'm going to thin out some of the branches to show the structure of the tree. Remember the principle of less is more. Always remember that. So I'm pruning big chunks off. Don't panic. Don't panic. It's looking better. Every little cut I'm making should make it look better. It's like having your hair cut for those of us who have hair. It's like having a haircut. All right. I used to be a hippie in my younger days. Okay, so I'm trying to reveal the structure. Inward growing branches, I'm not too concerned about because if you leave the inner branches, the inside of the tree will die because all leaves need light to photosynthesize because the leaves produce the food for the trees. If it doesn't get light, it will suffer and die. So I'm just thinning it to let light in. You can even do this. You remember I did a video and I called it the chicken plucker tree because it's literally like plucking feathers. You know, you go around like that. You pluck the leaves. And by plucking the leaves, I'm going to introduce light into the structure. It won't harm the tree. There's enough leaves in there. So this
on the leaf. How do you get rid of the big? I don't like big leaves. Is there any way to?
No, you cut it off, and the next crop will be slightly smaller.
Okay.
Don't worry. In the middle of the summer, you should do it, but don't do it in the autumn because if you do it in the autumn, it won't have chance to produce new leaves.
Okay.
So you see already by thinning it, it's beginning to look better. Not so congested. What we don't want is congestion. So selectively prune. Inward growing branches we take out. That is general gardening. Those of you who grow anything, even roses, inward growing branches you take off. And have a balanced shape. So it's not lopsided or anything. I'm trying to create a balanced shape. And I always remember to look at the marker. So that is the front of the tree you're looking at.
Yep.
So this is the overall
Yep.
effect we want. So from here, And I'm still trying to create the dome shape. And as it grows during the growing season, keep aiming to create the dome shape. Now these browning of the tips is from the sun being excessive. We've had very hot sun. Even in April we've had hot sun, so you take those off and the new ones will grow. Don't leave it on the tree because it looks unsightly. So no wiring, nothing. You must admit it looks better than what it started off with. What have I done? Just done a little bit of pruning. No more. I haven't done any wiring or anything. This is what we call the broom style. That means it's like a mop head or broom. Because trees in nature do grow in that fashion. So next year when we come to repot it, that's going to be the front. Huh?
Okay.
So you put it in a pot this round.
Yeah, big pot, yeah.
And it's wise what you've done, planting in a deep pot. Newly potted up trees should have a shallow pot. Shallow pot always helps the trees to grow better. So there you go. This one is done. Now let's have a look at the other one. Simple.
Yeah, that's a lot older, that one.
Now this is Japanese greybark elm, Zelkova serrata, and those trees are Zelkova Japanese serrata. This again, these are commercial trees from Japan. You must have bought it from someone who imports them from Japan.
Yeah, it was a show, a bonsai show.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
It's a nice tree, very nice tree. There is one odd branch. Can you see going straight up there? Can you see?
Yeah.
That is spoiling the character of the tree. Also, tell me what you think is wrong with this tree. Again, simple words.
Well, straight away these two branches that have shot away.
It is literally what we call a
too
blob. isn't it?
crowded,
You
yeah.
can't see the branches.
No.
There are no spaces
No.
between the branches.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is what. It is just a blob. It's not
Yeah.
a bonsai
No,
as
no,
it
no.
is. So the first thing I do, my first principles is always just trim it back into the conical shape. So we have the basic outline, and then I will go into the tree to create spaces between the branches. Because you need to see spaces, otherwise it will still continue to be a blob.
Yeah.
And also this tree I can see has got a beautiful thick trunk. If you have the assets, why should you hide it? Don't hide what you've got. Show your assets. Okay, so this is what is wrong with this tree. It's got a lot of potential, but it's not being shown to the full. And I can see that the trunk is beautiful and thick, but you can't see it. You just can't see it. So I'm going to show it. And also I will get round to deciding which is the front, because I can see a potential front. Also the front of the tree leans slightly towards you.
Yeah.
These are very vigorous trees. And if you look closely at the tree, look at these branches suddenly shooting upwards. We want the branches to spread outwards. So straight away, these upward pointing branches are what we call faults on the tree. Okay, so they are potential faults. So I'm going to gradually reduce it. I should have got you to sign a declaration.
Peter, I trust you. I trust you.
I'm not responsible for killing you on the operating table. You know, when I'm in a hospital, you know, when you sign that, you often wonder what happens if you die, isn't it? Sign your life away. Okay, trust me. You come to me for my expertise.
Nice.
I think the potting angle can also be changed. Just because it came to you like this in the pot, it doesn't mean it has to stay like this forever.
Right.
it can be potted. You see, if I pot it at that angle, it's changed the look of the tree.
Oh, okay.
You see?
Yeah.
It's just a like
Wow.
5-degree change
Yeah.
in the angle has changed the look. Also, we don't like thick branches on a bonsai because the contrast between thick branches and the trunk makes the trunk look thin. Does it make sense? If you have thin branches, it contrasts more with the trunk. Logical?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? If you have thin branches compared to the trunk, it makes the trunk look thicker. If you have thick branches, it makes the trunk look smaller. So that is the logic why I've got rid of these thick branches. They are not so helpful. So I'm now continuing to go around and review the trunk. Zelkova, you've got to be quite meticulous in how you keep pruning it. If you neglect it, you will lose control of the tree and it'll become a blob like this.
Use
How
them
many
as
years have
cuttings.
you had this?
Okay.
Use them as cuttings.
Oh, really?
How many years have you had this tree?
2 or 3?
2 or 3, okay.
Yeah, not that long.
But you probably have neglected pruning it.
I've neglected everything. I've moved house about
Okay.
18 months ago, and I'm afraid I've had so many other things to do. I haven't
Okay.
had time to, apart from keeping them watered and alive.
Now I can see straight away. All right, I want to say, you tell me which you think is the front and which is the back. I'm going to turn the tree around. You bear it in mind and then I'll ask you your opinion, okay? Any takers? Now I want your opinion. Which would you regard as the front?
The bit where the soil comes up, that bit. there.
This side. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Definitely.
right. There's always one side that looks better
Yeah.
than another side. Okay, so let us put a little marker in there and remind us where the front is. Also, now again, talking about good points and bad points, what is the purpose of this root? It's doing nothing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's ugly.
Right.
Absolutely ugly.
Okay.
So take it off.
Okay. Yeah, okay with that.
And because I know that this tree's got such a lot of root in there, I can safely take it off and I can assure you it won't harm the tree. Don't forget, in bonsai we're trying to create beautiful things. If it is ugly, then you can take it off. It serves no purpose. And I know that this tree has got such a lot of root that taking that odd root off won't hurt the tree. It's really like cosmetic surgery. In fact, last Sunday I did a one-to-one. We do classes just for individuals. He came with his daughter. He's a top cosmetic surgeon. Lives in Eaton Square. So can you imagine how much money he's got? And he was doing bonsai. So he could see straight away that what we do is literally like cosmetic surgery. Okay. And the branches should be horizontal, and we should have spaces between branches, or what we call the pads. The pad is like the flat of your hand. This is too wide. So the pad is like what we sometimes refer to as the herringbone, like a fish bone. That means starting wide and then tapering to a point, you know, like an arrowhead.
Yeah.
So that's the shape of the pad. Remember, we can always rearrange the branches with a bit of wiring, and spaces between the branches. You can see that there's a space there now, over there. The tree is still troubling me a bit because I can't see the trunk well enough, so I'm going to wire perhaps one branch and part it. In fact, I've come across a situation where I can take one branch off. Can you see if I take that branch off, will it improve it or spoil
Definitely improve it.
it? Improve it.
Yeah.
Yes.
See? With or without, like when you go to
Yeah.
opticians, isn't
Yeah.
it? Without.
Yeah, it's too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
Again, the principle is to show the trunk, showing the trunk. Now you can see the tree. Look at that powerful trunk there.
Yeah.
Lovely.
You see
yeah,
how
much better.
powerful the trunk looks?
Much better.
So now you can see the tree because you can see the trunk. Before it was just a blob. So there you are. I haven't even put a piece of wire on. I've just by pruning achieved this. So you keep the head in this nice dome shape. Don't let these branches develop too much. Always make sure you create the space and you're there. I think Josh will help you. We'll push it in this at this angle. There you go. And
Wow.
in the time remaining, would you like to come and see our growing fields? I can show you how we develop our own bonsai, because 70% of all the trees we sell are produced here. So let's have a walk. And I know you've done small trees. Some other people come on our workshop and work on very complicated trees. So there's all sorts of things. Come with me and I'll show
Can I
you
just
what.
ask one thing?
Yes, of course.
I mean, obviously, there's still, to me, there's still too many leaves and that
Yeah.
on here. Is that right? You take all the bottom off first, snip all the bottom
and
off,
work up to the top.
work up.
Create spaces between branches.
So yeah.
And
so,
these burnt leaves, maybe from watering, you can just pluck those leaves off
Okay.
and keep it.
but I would still
Yeah.
think that needs thinning
Yeah.
out a lot.
Yeah, okay, just
Yeah.
go in and with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, come, let's have.